Hello, I'm Shiroi, and I'm here to discuss the topic of mecha and who I think is good for new players. First things first, the more you play a mech, the more customization for it you get. I'm not going to go over every mech that you can buy or its modifications, but I'm going to go over the 4 mechs you can get. Those being Firefox, Arthur, Carmel, and Skylark. Let's talk about Firefox first. Now among all of these, the most basic of all these mechs is Firefox. Although Firefox is basic, Firefox is still a force to be reckoned with. Firefox is a very close-range based mecha, with its primary weapons the Gatling guns, and its secondary weapon the missile launchers. At close range, Firefox shreds most mechs like paper. Additionally, Firefox has multiple evasive options such as dashing or jumping. Depending on what module you have, you can dash further or get shield. I personally would recommend putting that dense shield module on when you unlock it if you pick this mech, as it extends the potential uptime quite significantly. At medium range, Firefox begins to fall off in damage, still capable of doing some harm, but not much. At longer ranges, your options are severely limited. You can utilize Firefox's dash to close the gaps in the engagements you may find yourself in, or to dodge. It's also worth noting that jumping is really good when you're trying to evade as many shots as possible. Combine jumping and dashing to aid in evading any possible close to long-range threats. Additionally, you can dash in the middle of your jump with Firefox. Now, when it comes to core modules, should you use Core Module 1 or should you use Core Module 2? Personally, I think Core Module 1 is good, but because Firefox is such a close-range mech, Core Module 2 is also very powerful. I would say it's down to preference, but some Firefox names would argue 2 is the best for them. Arthur. Arthur, while being beginner-friendly, is a mech I would consider on the more intermediate side. Lacking a gun, his main method of attack is with his sword and its projectile beams. Arthur has a double jump, making his aerial mobility better than some mechs. Arthur is a very close-range mech, however, he can still perform well in medium range and alright sometimes in long range. Upon striking a mech with Arthur's sword beam 4 times, it will inflict a temporary paralysis, which prevents the affected mech from doing any action. Arthur's secondary ability causes him to swing his sword up to 3 times, each one doing big damage while also lunging Arthur forward with each swing, until it goes into cooldown. There is a certain amount of time you have before the ability forces itself into cooldown after the first swing, so be cautious about that. Like Firefox, Arthur also has a dash, and it helps close the distance quite a bit. Core Module 1 or 2. Personally, I think Core Module 1 is the best. I don't play a lot of Arthur, but Core Module 1 makes his big dash into 3 separate smaller dashes, giving him a lot of movement opportunity and dodge opportunity. As for Core Module 2, it really just buffs most things about him, so really, I'd say it's based off your playstyle and what you want, but I would recommend Core Module 1, especially as a beginner. Carmel. Carmel, in my opinion, is the most advanced out of all these mechs. While Carmel is still straightforward, Carmel does have a lot to cover in terms of techniques, knowledge, and how to get the most out of this bombarding bear. Carmel has a big leap as their dash, letting it to hard-to-reach spots. Carmel also has a secondary weapon, which is a fireball. You can shoot both the primary and secondary weapon at the same time if you want to. There is also a transformation with Carmel called the tank form. It will allow you to fire big explosive rounds at the cost of staying stationary. Now, due to the nature of Carmel, I would say it would require a whole separate video to cover, so if you'd like to know more beyond basic information, stay tuned for the future, as I'll be making a video covering Carmel. As I was saying though, on a basic level, Carmel is a reliable mech, with tanky capabilities and splash damage. If you like hard-hitting splash damage and explosions, try giving Carmel a try. As for core modules, I usually go for Core Module 1 as it increases the fire and reload rate of the bear form, The Core Module 2 is good if you like the tank form, as it does give quite a hefty boost to its projectile speed. Now finally, Skylark. Skylark is a very versatile mech, and I'll get straight to the point. I think Skylark is one of the best mechs to start out with. Skylark has high mobility, great damage output, can handle pretty much every range, and it's not very hard to get familiar with how Skylark controls. Skylark's primary weapon shoots orbs that can deal some pretty decent damage. They do have travel time, so depending on your range and how well you are at predicting your target, it can make it a little harder to hit each shot. Skylark, instead of a dash, has an acceleration. It will make him move faster, make his jumps higher, and overall help his evasion. While Skylark is in the air, you can press jump again to activate a glide, which consumes fuel as Skylark descends, making the timing for his landing harder to predict based on when you activate it. Now, Skylark's secondary weapon, the Hunt, is a really good tool. Once it hits someone and it comes back to Skylark, it heals Skylark based off the damage it dealt. Not only is the Hunt wide, it also goes quite far. As for core modules, it heavily depends on the situation and how you like to play. Core Module 1 makes it so that when the Hunt is returning to you, it can hit anything in its path a second time. Now, Core Module 2 on the other hand, makes it so that the further it travels, the more damage it will deal. Based on what playstyle you have, you should pick the module you want with that considered. In conclusion, you should experiment with whatever mech you want in the training grounds and consider the information provided to you from this video when making your choice. Remember, you have all these mechs for free, so don't worry about making the wrong choice. I hope this video was informative and helpful in your choice, and if it was, consider liking the video. If you'd like to see more content from me in the future, you can always subscribe. Thanks for watching, consider sharing this video with any new players please, and have a great time. Goodbye.